I was at a 760 something. I got down somewhere around, I want to say it was like 424. That's how low my credit score was. Yeah.
Wow.
And that was one lesson that I learned from the first time.
Huge.
If I don't have the money, I don't some of these credit card companies will come after you.
Tell them.
Some of these credit card companies will come after you. And I'm going to tell you one specific.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Calvin Russell here, CEO and founder of 850 Club Credit. Super excited to bring you all yet another guest speaker, okay? Now, listen, this guy needs no introduction. He's been on the channel quite a few times. He's helped us break some channel records with his information, and that's because we call him Mr. Research, okay? Mr. Do Your Research is in the house, all right? But either way, listen, if you want to take some notes, this is now the time to go ahead and get out your notepad. He doesn't have a lot of time. We was actually able to catch him while he is on the road. All right. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and bring in Sledge. All right, Sledge, how are you, sir?
Good, man. Glad to be in front of your audience once again, man. I appreciate you for having me on here. For people that do not know me, my name is Sledge. I am the founder and creator of the Sledge 18 YouTube channel.
That's right, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, listen, Sledge, we greatly appreciate you being here, man. Let's get right into today's information. Now, of course, people know you for having high limit credit cards, having multiple American Express cards, PenFed, you name the credit union, you've either having a relationship with them, have a credit card with them. Listen, that's what we know you for, especially on YouTube. All right. But people don't know the story before all of that happened. And not only were you, of course, learning the credit card game in general, but your credit score was in the 400s. How did you go from, how low was that score? And how did you climb out of that situation to build these relationships with the banks that you have today?
Man, it was tough. It was tough. But I want to start off with, because a lot of times I do let that get away because on my channel we talk about credit cards and the benefits of credit cards. So sometimes it does get away from me that I didn't always start off where I ended up at. So yeah, I like to talk about this from time to time because I like to look at the audience as if I can do it, trust me, you can do it. I told Calvin once upon a time, the very first time I knew what my credit score was, I had a 706, somewhere around a 760 credit score. The only reason I knew about that number was because I applied for a dealer's store card. It was my very first credit card that I ever had. And when you apply for a credit card, when you get the approval letter, they have to put your credit score on there. I didn't know anything about credit scores. I didn't know anything about credit cards or how to handle credit cards. They gave me this credit card with $1,000 limit on it. I was young at the time. And what do you do when you are uneducated with credit? When I maxed that thing out, right? I maxed that thing out. But even before I maxed it out, I was paying on it regularly. And I'm picking up other store cards. I'm talking about you name the store card. I have Sears cards. I got Best Buy cards. I have all of these store cards.
If you're looking to increase your credit score, qualify for homeownership, or lower your monthly car payment, we can help you. We can take a look at your credit report and create a custom game plan for you to help you accomplish your credit goals. Scan this QR code or click the link in the description below. Now back to the video.
And then I also graduated onto some bank cards. There's a bank, I don't even know if it's in existence in the U.S. anymore. It's called HSBC. I had two of their cards. You remember HSBC?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Capital One. I had two Capital One cards. I had a Discover card. I had Target cards. But the thing was, like I say, for somebody who doesn't know how to handle credit and uneducated on credit, what I'm doing is I'm using these cards as if they're my own money.
Right.
Right. I'm using the cards as if they're my own money, not realizing at the time this is the bank's money. And we're talking about a long time ago when interest rates weren't as high as they are now, because right now they're borderline predatory, right? The
Yeah.
interest rates on credit cards are extremely high,
For real.
right? Even if you have good or excellent credit. So what happens when you max out those cards, and I know a lot of you guys already know this, when you max out those cards, the interest rate you're paying the minimum balance on it, the interest rate is creeping up and creeping up.
Mm-hmm.
And once you miss a payment or two, which I did, because at some point in time, you're just like, I became overwhelmed with the amount of debt that I had from getting all of these cards.
Yeah.
Bill collectors call in, you know what I mean, and things like that. And it went to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm paying these guys so much money for this little bit of money that I've actually spent. And it went to the point, man, I just stopped paying them. You know what I mean? Like I stopped paying them, and it was a terrible choice at that time. But that's the honest route that I took. And when I get in front of anybody's audience, including my own, I have to be 100% transparent. I just stopped paying them. I just stopped paying them. What I didn't know, what I did not know at that time is some of these credit card companies will come after you.
Tell them.
Some of these credit card companies will come after you. And I'm going to tell you one specific, Target. Target will come after you if you owe those guys and don't pay them. They will come after you. So Target subpoenaed me. Yeah, Target subpoenaed me. I had to go to court. But at this point in time, because I'm so backed up, and the crazy part about it is, Calvin, I owe Target $1,500. I could have paid him the $1,500. Right. I could have paid him the $1,500.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I'm like, I'm not paying them at this point, because all the interest and everything that occurred. I get to court in front of, before we even see the judge. The lawyer pulls me to the side, asks me, what can we do to settle it right there? I told him if we can make, if I can pay in full today, could I get in writing that you would take it off my credit report? They agreed at that very moment, like at that very moment in court.
Yeah.
We never even seen the judge. The only thing that the lawyer told the judge that we had settled it, it was off the docket. I paid it. They gave it to me in writing that they would take it off of my credit, and it was off. The thing is, I still had all of these other debt on my credit. So when I'm telling you, I was at a 760 something. I got down somewhere around. I want to say it was like 424. That's how low my credit score was. Yeah.
Wow.
Because when you have those 30, 60, 90-day late and then missed payments, man, we're not talking about losing 5, 10 points. We're talking about losing 80, 90 points at a time.
That's right.
Each one of them. Yeah. So my credit score was, I mean, at this point, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Now, I'm still able to finance cars and things like that. But the interest rate on these things are ridiculous.
Insane.
Interest rate is ridiculous. So at some point in time, I made up my mind, and it took a long time. Like and I don't want you to be this person. If you identify with what I'm saying, I don't want you to be this person to take forever to go ahead and change your circumstances, because they're easily changeable. Right? They're easily changeable. The first thing you want to do is pay off your bills. Stop listening to these people talk about not paying your bills. Pay off your bills, right? Get that stuff off of your credit report. If you go to a lender and tell them if you're going to pay them and you want them to take whatever you owe off of that credit report, more than likely they will do it.
Yeah.
They just want their money.
That's it.
That's it. They just want their money. They don't care about your credit report or none of that. They are business. They into making money.
Real quick, be sure to download our free ebook today. All you got to do is scan this QR code right here or click the link in the description below. Now back to the video.
Right. So you want to do that, but at the same time, you want to do everything else correctly. Everything going forward, you want to make sure you pay, right? It's a lot of things, such as, just say for instance, your rent, your electric bill, your phone bill. Now, those things may not be on your credit report as paid, but you better believe if you don't pay them, right? If you don't pay them, they will report on their negativity. So you want to make sure that you're taking care of the basics of those and keep trying to build back towards positive credit. After a certain amount of time, it's going to fall off your credit anyway, right?
Yep.
After a certain amount of time, it's going to fall off your credit. So if you keep working toward positive, keep paying your regular bills on time and in full, and eventually over time, you're going to start moving back. Now, if you once you get into the 500s, the 500s, mid to upper 500s, you're going to actually start applying for credit cards again.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
In my personal situation, when I thought it was time for me to start applying for credit cards, I was still kind of afraid of bank cards. So I went right back to the same issuer who sued me, Target.
Wow.
Went right back
Wow,
to
that was bold. That was bold.
I went right back.
How did that go?
You know what? Because at that time of my life, I shopped Target pretty regularly. I knew that it had been over 7 years since we made this agreement. Well, no, let me take that back. It had been over 7 years since the original debt.
Right.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I hadn't pulled a credit report or anything. I just went in there and applied.
Yeah.
And when I applied online. And they approved me. They approved me for the same thing they approved me for the first time. $1,000. They approved me for $1,000 on a target card. So and now in my mind, I'm like, okay, I can actually get credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I can actually get credit cards. So I applied for a Best Buy card.
Yeah.
I was approved for that card. But at this point, I'm still not ready to get back into bank cards yet. So I took my time on the bank cards. It may have been a year or two. And after doing some research, I found out that Capital One was pretty lenient with lower credit scores.
That's right.
At this time, I probably had either upper 500, low 600, like low 600s. Okay, I had like low 600s. I applied for the Capital One Platinum card and the Capital One Quicksilver card. Man, probably within a few months of each other, like pretty close.
Yeah.
I was approved for both of those cards. So now I have major bank cards. Like now I have major bank cards. And because of those major bank cards, and keep in mind, I already told you that I'm already able to finance cars, right?
Yep.
So I already have a credit mix because I have installment loans and I have revolving loans.
That's right.
Which is improving my credit during this time. I'm using the cars that I do have responsibly. I'm paying them on time. I'm not partially paying because the thing that you got to understand is my credit score was still in the low 600s. So those interest rates that they were giving me were not the greatest interest rates, right? I don't want to put myself back in that situation again. So anything I charge, I'm paying in full. Right.
Right.
And that was one lesson that I learned from the first time.
Huge.
If I don't have the money, I don't buy it. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
If I don't have the money in my account to pay for anything that I charge, I do not buy it. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's how you get into debt. Like that is how you get into debt. Because if you're that person that says, "Man, I'm gonna pay this on my next check," you're gonna keep saying that. You're gonna keep saying that.
But it's hard. It's hard, Sledge. You see it. You see. Right.
Listen. It's definitely hard. Like it is hard, right? You see something. You got this credit card. You got $5,000 on it. You got $1,000. You got $20,000 on there. This item only costs you, $150, right?
That's it.
But you buy that item for $150. You don't pay. You pay the minimum balance on it month after month. You can pay $500 for $150 item.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You pay $500 for $150 item. What you want to do is, and I preach this quite often. If you buy it, please be able to pay for it before the statement period ends. Now, I understand, man. We talking about real life, and things happen, right?
Yeah.
And if you have to use a credit card in an emergency, then so be it. You know what I mean? Like that
Yeah.
is an emergency. But understand an emergency and what you think might be an emergency. You know what I mean?
Man, talk about it.
Yeah. Because when that starts mounting on you, it's
Yeah.
gonna be a real emergency. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I just want you to think about some of the things that I said and how I
Yeah.
grew from the point that I'm at now is because after using credit cards responsibly and seeing that I can get points from credit cards and cash back from credit cards, and that's how I became the person that I am today. Because I
Yeah.
looked at the advantages and I was thinking about how much money have I given to these credit card companies. It's time for me to
Mm.
start taking some back.
That's right. Man,
You know,
let's talk about that.
it's time for me to start taking some back.
Mm.
Just, I mean, not bragging or nothing, just for an example. This week coming up, in a few
He,
days,
he he about to start bragging. Y'all get ready.
it's not bragging. It's not bragging at all. What I'm telling you is what you can accomplish as well.
That's
I'm
right.
flying myself, my wife, my son, and when I get there and back, my daughter to Japan and back,
Oh.
staying for 2 weeks in hotels on
Mm.
credit card points.
Mm.
Right? I'm not
Wow.
spending anything normally abnormally that I wouldn't regular spend. I'm not doing my regular spending. Like
Wow.
doing my regular spending, I accrue these points, and we take several trips a year on credit card points. To
Wow.
top it off, when I get to these places that we go to, I also have my cashback card that I don't touch that cashback on until I travel. So
Right.
anything that would have been out of pocket, I'm getting it from the money that I got cash back on these cards. Now,
Wow.
if you have cards that can gain you points and cash back, there's one thing that I want to tell you. If you're paying interest by paying the minimum balance, those points mean nothing because you're going
Mm.
to pay more in interest than
Yep.
you're getting out of those points.
Better
You
believe it.
want to pay. You listen. You better believe it. There are a lot of people who, they might think, oh man, I got 50,000 points over here on this card, but they're also paying for that same $150 item until it's $500. You
Yep. They didn't
understand what I'm
overpaid at
saying?
this point.
They overpaid. You're still
Mhm.
paying more than the points you accumulate. So
Wow.
that's why I say it's not bragging. What I'm trying to tell you to do is be smart with how you use your credit cards. Like
That's
you
right.
have to be smart with how you use them. You want to take advantage of those cards and do the reverse of going into debt with them. Take some of their
Wow.
money. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Take some of their
Absolutely.
money. Uh, You think about
Absolutely.
right now,
Yeah.
credit card. Some of these credit cards, man, they have like 35% interest rates to them.
Yeah.
35%. You think if you put
Mhm.
$5,000 on a card and you paying 35% interest on this, you're paying almost half of that in interest as well on top of the $5,000.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, man, it's all about being responsible. And if you listen to me,
Yep.
if you listen to me, if anybody knows, because I've been on both sides of it. I
Yeah.
can walk you through it, and like I can walk you through it. And at this point I have 41 credit cards
Wow.
and over $400,000 in credit, or somewhere around that. Yeah,
Wow.
somewhere around $400,000 in
From
credit.
the
And we talking to
400
somebody. Listen,
from the
from the
400s to
400,
400.
right? From the 400s, right? From the 400s, and I just started really getting into the credit card game like around 2018. So it
Wow.
hasn't been that
Yeah.
long. Yeah,
That's right.
like
Yeah.
7 years. Um,
Oh, man. So listen, first off, listen, I gotta say, listen, let us know in the comment section, guys, in the chat. Listen, if you guys are picking up the gems that Sledge is dropping, some of you all may be saying, listen, I know some of these basic things, but let me tell you something. Some things we know, but some things we're not executing or remembering or doing well or doing all the time. And some people are like, man, you know what? I needed to be reminded, of this type of information because they think it's so simple, but that's the information that you need. And then now let's go into Now, okay, we went into the rebuilding stage.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that information as well too, and being transparent on that, because a lot of people think that, hey, if because of my situation, there's no way I can get a high limit credit card. There's no way I can rebuild a relationship with a certain bank. I just can't do it. So let's go into, now you've rebuilt some things. You got
Yeah.
you got the Target card, you got the Best Buy card. What was
Yeah.
the first bank where you feel like it was a premier relationship? And then after that, tell us about the banks that gave you the highest credit limits as well.
And the first bank that I actually went back to, because this is also actually pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
You remember when I said I had 2 Capital One cards in the very beginning? I had 2 Capital One cards when I first started my credit journey. And those were 2 cards that I defaulted on. Capital One is also one of the issuers, and actually the very first issuer that I was able to go back to. They were
Mm,
one of the one. They were the very first one that I applied to. I got the Capital
gotcha.
One Platinum and the Capital
Yeah.
One Quicksilver.
Yeah.
So that was after the 2 store cards. So
Okay.
in saying that, if you're somebody who's working on your credit and you
Yeah.
have kind of low credit, or you're working on your credit, you can get in with Capital One, but don't bank on them giving you high limits. Like,
Mm,
they're
you ain't lying.
don't bank on them giving you. They're just not the bank for that. Not to say you can't get high limits with Capital One. They're one of those issuers. Is once you get in with them and you have a lower credit score, they'll let you in the door. But in order for you to get a high limit credit card, you're more than likely going to have to apply for different ones once you've improved your credit more. Once you
Yeah.
get into the 700s and things like that, they probably still would. The credit card that you had when you initially got with them, they probably still won't even give you a credit limit increase on that card. But if you
Yeah.
apply for another card, more than likely they'll give you a higher limit on it. But in
Yeah.
my case, for high limit credit cards, and I'm gonna give you 2 banks. One that people don't even think about, because people mostly think about, when you hear about YouTube, everyone talks about Navy Federal, and that's gonna
Yep.
be one of them.
Yep.
But American Express.
Mm,
American Express is an easy bank to get into, as long
yeah.
as if you're paying your bills on time, right? You have a six. Now, granted, you got to probably have like a 670, right?
Yeah.
670 or better, paying your bills on time. Once you get with Amex,
Yeah.
and you're paying your things on time,
Yeah.
you build a solid foundation with them. And when I say a solid foundation, it's just getting there, getting the card and paying it. That's
Yeah.
it.
Hmm.
like that is it. American Express, their rules are, for the most part, they have credit cards and charge cards. If you don't know the difference, a credit card has to be can be paid over time. A charge card has to be paid off every month. American Express will give you up to 5 credit cards and up to 14 charge cards. I don't
Mm,
know about anybody who would need or want 14 charge cards, but like I say, once you get in with American Express, more than likely you can get any of their cars. And
mm,
after the first 3 months of having one of their cars, you can 3x the limit.
mm.
You can
How do
3x
you
the limit.
hold on,
Yeah,
hold on.
yeah.
You
You
going too
you can
fast,
3x
Les.
the limit.
How do you
Yeah.
do that?
It, you know what? It's so easy.
Mm,
You can either call them or message them. I usually just message them because I don't like being on hold and things like that, right? So I just message them
right.
and do whatever I'm doing at the time and check it when I check it. But if you all you have to do is inquire about it. You
Mm,
request a credit limit increase, they're gonna ask you what you want to increase to. So
okay.
say for instance, they gave you 5 grand.
Yeah.
You're gonna say you want 15 grand.
Mm,
They're gonna give you the 15 grand.
mm,
like like that, because that's part of their rules. They
yeah.
will 3x your credit limit. Now
Wow.
imagine if you have 10 grand on the card,
Mm,
you want to 3x it. Now you have 30 grand on the card.
wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, a high limit credit card might mean something different to me as it means to
Yeah.
you. You
Yeah.
know, a high limit credit card for me at one time. Heck, if they gave me $3,000, I'm like, cool, this is hell.
Listen,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? Right.
Yeah.
Now, some people might think that a high limit credit card is $30,000. You know, somebody might think it's
Yeah.
10,000. So it all depends on what you
Yeah.
think is a high limit credit card. If you can get an American Express charge card, same
Yeah.
thing. The same rules apply as far as the credit score. If you have a 670 or better, you can probably get an American Express Green, Gold, Platinum. Those are their charge cards.
Mm.
Those cards have no preset spending limit. Don't mistake that with no limit. There's no
Mm.
preset spending limit, meaning that depending on your spending habit, that's how they decide on what your credit limit is. And these credit
Yeah.
limits aren't going to be small limits, right? They're not
Mm.
going to be small limits. And if you're somebody who need the extra funds and things like that, if you go to purchase something, I have a friend of mine. He wanted to make a large purchase, and before he made that purchase, because it was a substantial amount on his American
Yeah.
Express Gold card, he just called American Express and told them that he wanted to make this purchase. They approved it on the spot. Now, keep in mind, there's no preset spending limit. They just
Yeah.
told him if he made that purchase, it would be approved.
Wow.
Right. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's another thing a lot of people don't talk about with American Express, with their charge cards, is although you may not see the high limit because you don't know what the limit is per se, you can call them and ask them would a certain purchase be approved. And they also have a tool on their website called a spending limit. You can just check the spending limit.
Yeah.
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 You can also check the spending limit to see if they'll approve you for a certain amount. And then of course the House of High Limits, man. Navy Federal,
The House
the
of High
House of High
Limits.
Limits, man. Listen, we're gonna talk about Navy Federal a lot. But the thing with Navy Federal is, a lot of people know if you get in with Navy Federal after 91 days, you can get a credit limit increase. More than likely, they're going to give you somewhere around $8,000 on the credit limit increase. But the one thing that we also got to understand is we have to be responsible. You
That's
know,
right.
we
Yeah.
have to be responsible. You can get up to 80K with Navy Federal, and right now
Yeah.
that's where I'm at. I have two cars with Navy Federal. I have the flagship and the more rewards. The flagship I have 55,000 on, and on the more rewards I have 25,000. So yeah, 25,000. I actually had the Go Rewards card, and they started me with 19,000. I actually moved the credit limit from the Go Rewards over to the flagship, would put me at 55,000, and I closed the Go Rewards.
Man,
But
that's a
you can
hack.
also do that.
Yeah.
Like yeah, there's several
That's a
ways
big.
to get high limits on cars.
Yeah.
If you have multiple
Wow.
cards with banks, a lot of banks will let you move the credit limit from one card to another. So
Mm.
now,
Wow.
one thing that I want to mention, Calvin, before we go on with that is, man,
Yeah.
with these high credit limits come
Yeah.
high responsibility, man.
You better believe it.
Like, I want you to think about the thing that I said earlier about some of these issuers charging
Yeah.
up to 30% interest, right? Now,
Yeah.
imagine if you have $50,000 on a card that's maxed out, and you owe 30% interest on that card. you,
Crazy.
It's crazy. Like a lot of people want high limit credit cards, but
Yeah.
what do you want them for? You
Right.
know, that means a lot.
What's
Like
the
what you
purpose?
want, what is the purpose of you getting these cards?
Mhm.
Are you getting it to just say you can get it? Are you getting it so you can use this card and run the credit limit up? You know,
Yeah.
you have to have a purpose for these for these cards. Like you have
Yeah.
to have some type of purpose for these cards. Because if you don't, you can end up getting yourself in debt, and that is something that I don't want you guys to do, man. Like
Yeah.
honestly,
For
but yeah,
sure, for sure. Well, man,
yeah,
listen. First off, let's listen. We not done yet. We just we listen. We this probably even ain't even halftime. No, I'm kidding. But listen, let us know. Listen, we bring Sledge here all the time. Let us know in the comment section below if you guys want us to bring him back. Okay, we are not done yet. He's not done dropping these gems because listen, let's stay on that because you talked about how people love the House of High Limits. They love
yeah,
Navy Federal and but the thing is, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and there's also information that changes,
yeah,
over time. Okay.
for sure.
Um, with you having pretty much almost all of the, Navy Federal, or at least majority of the Navy Federal credit cards is out there. You mentioned the other day that there are some Navy Federal myths.
Yeah,
Okay, people giving bad advice out there
for sure.
and things that don't work anymore with Navy Federal, if not working at all. Tell us more about that.
All right. Now, when I made a video about this, I wanted to save one particular one for last because people don't talk about it as much, but I still, from time to time on YouTube, and throughout social media, see people talk
Yeah.
about this one thing. And I left it for last in my video, but I want to talk about it first here. And it
Mm.
is the Navy Federal late night hack. Please, please do not believe that there is a late night hack. Do not believe that if you apply for a credit card between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m., somehow, just somehow, the the computers stop acting as if the algorithm stop acting the way it act the entire day and just start approving people high limits all willy-nilly. Like, do not believe that. If you're going to get approved for a card, it don't matter if you apply at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
or 2 a.m. You know, if you go, if they want to give you a manual review, the computer's not going to push your application through because it's 2 o'clock in the morning. You're going to have to wait until the next day when a human's there to review your application. And
Mm.
one thing that a lot of people, because people will apply at night and get approved, and then so their thinking is because got approved at night, then this
Yep.
hack works. The reality of it is, if they applied in the daytime, they're more than likely they would have been approved anyway.
As well. Right. Yeah.
No, that's just one that I wanted to get out of the way
Yeah.
from the very beginning.
Yeah. A lot of people been talking about that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
a lot of people believe it. Like we're talking about the number one federal credit union has a
Mhm.
computer system that works this way. Would you want to keep your money there? You understand what I'm saying? Like,
You
would
got a
you,
point.
if something's able to be hacked that way for so long, would
Yeah.
you want to keep money there? You know what I mean? Like, would you
That's
want to
risky.
have credit cards there?
That's risky.
You know what I mean? So yeah, no, the Navy Federal late night hack is exactly what I said it is. It is a myth, man. But yeah, so let me get to the next one. The
Let's
next
get
one
to it.
is that people believe that because they got approved to be in the Navy Federal Credit Union, that when they apply for a credit card, they're automatically going to get a high limit credit card. And
Mm.
it's just not true. Navy
Yeah.
Federal still has to validate your income. They still have to look at your credit score. They still look at your debt to income, just
Mm.
like every other bank and credit union. Now,
Yeah.
do they give high limits at certain times? They absolutely do, but they still have to check, and not every single person is going to get a high limit credit card. But what I can tell you is that something I said earlier, after 91 days, you can request that credit limit increase and work your way to it. Right? You
Mm.
can work your way to it. And sometimes, for a lot of us, including myself, sometimes doing it the hard way is the better way because you actually
Yeah.
learn by doing those things. I see a lot of videos on YouTube with people talking about, hey man, you can sign up for Navy Federal and get $50,000 a day. Man, that's not gonna happen for most people.
No.
Like that's not.
No.
In fact, I couldn't tell you one person that got $50,000 when they applied for the very first time with Navy Federal. Not one person. I can
Mm.
tell you one person. Not none of
Mm.
these YouTubers, like like no one. So uh, I did get 25K when I applied when I first got in, but that's
Yeah.
the most that I know anybody ever get. And I think that's their limit.
Right.
Like,
That's like the
that's their
right, the stuff.
limit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen less as well too, but 25 is more common.
Yeah, 25 more comments. Sometimes they give 24 high, but you know what? You can apply and get $1,000. but guess what? You're in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're in the
Yeah.
credit. You've been approved. You weren't denied. You're
Yeah.
in. You're in the credit union, and you have the credit card. You weren't
Work your
denied the
way up.
credit card. Right. It could be a lot worse. You could have been denied for that credit card. So
Yeah.
yeah, you over time you will be able to get there. The next one is going to be that you need a high credit score in order to be approved for the high limit credit cards. Now, I'm going to say that because people associate high credit scores with 800, 850 credit club, you know,
Right. You know it.
with I'm going to Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. You know what a high credit score to them is? 670 and above. 670 above.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of times, if you look online, they're going to tell you 700 and above, 670 and above, because 670 is classified as good credit.
Yeah.
So good, great, excellent is what you, let me say it back. Good, very good, and excellent is the realm that you want to be. Of course, you
Yeah.
want to be excellent. Like you
Yeah.
want to be excellent, but you can
Yeah.
apply with a 670 score because when I first got into Navy Federal, man, I think I wasn't even 700. I probably like
Mm.
680 somewhere around that, and I got the more rewards, and they gave me $25,000. It was my very first day of membership.
Mm.
It was the very first day of membership. So yeah, you don't need to have a high credit score in order to get the high limit cards. But what you do have to do, and I'm gonna keep going back to pointing that to you, you have to
Yeah.
pay your bills on time. Don't have any late payments. You know,
Yeah.
if you got late payments on there, you're not gonna get that, right?
Yeah.
You have missed payments, especially, you're not gonna get that. And
Yeah.
another thing I like to point out about missed payments is, late payments is if you're late on a payment, don't be late 30 days. Like, don't be late 30 days because that's when they're
Huge.
going to report it. Yeah.
That's
Now,
right.
that bank or credit union may give you a late fee, but you would rather have that late fee than to have the late fee and then put it on your credit report. You
That's
know what I mean?
man.
Just
Yeah.
pay the late fee. It was your
Yeah.
fault. You didn't pay it on time. Pay the late fee. And sometimes, even better, you can call them if you've never done this before, right?
Mm.
You've never made a late payment before. You can
Yeah.
call a bank or credit union or any issuer and, hey man, I made a mistake. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times they will reverse the fee. Like they will
Mm.
reverse the fee. Just don't let it
Yeah.
sit on there for 30 days
Yeah.
because they're not going to reverse it at that point. And they're going to
Yep.
put it on your credit score.
Better
So
believe it.
you better believe it. Another thing is because and it just go piggyback off something I just said. A lot
Okay.
of people think that you have to be part of the credit union for a certain amount of time. You
Mm.
don't to apply for cards. I applied
Wow.
for a card right after I became a member. Literally the
Okay.
same day within, like, and when I say right after, I mean literally right after I got off the phone with them and becoming a member. I applied for that card and they gave me $25,000. Like
Wow.
you
Day
don't
one.
have to wait. Yeah. Like you
Wow.
don't have to wait. But again, if you're working on your credit, you know, keep working. Like keep working. Get in that 670. Get to your 700s because you're making it a less of a chance that they're going to deny you. You know,
Right. Yeah.
make sure those late payments are off your credit. You know what I mean? Those missed payments. Make sure they're off of there.
Yeah.
And then apply because
Yeah.
you're gonna put yourself in a better situation, and you always want to do that whenever you apply for any credit cards. Um, Me myself, by having at this point, like I said, I have 41 credit cards. I can pretty much tell you how to get into any bank, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's no way for me to have that amount of cards without knowing the bank's rules, you know,
Yeah.
and how to get around those rules. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So yeah, I can pretty much say how to get in any bank. Navy Federal, super easy. As
Mm.
long as long as you can get inside of the Navy Federal, they
That's
will
right.
more than likely approve you for a credit card. You know what I
Man.
mean? As long as you
Yeah.
had a credit score, credit profile for 'em. And the last one, number 5, if you are denied for a credit card, and we hope that you're not, because you worked on your credit, you got your credit score up, your debt to income ratio was good, your income was looking okay, you weren't denied. If you happen to be denied, you do not have to wait a long time to apply again. But the one thing that I'm going to tell you is that they give you a letter whenever you're denied for a credit card from any issuer.
That's right.
They're going to tell you exactly why they denied you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Work on those things. Work on those things and go right back to them. Whether it's 3 months from now, it might take you 6 months to do it,
Yeah.
but it might be something as small. It might be something super small, right? It might
Yeah.
be something super small that you can work on within a few weeks.
Yeah.
Go right back. But I would recommend 3 months at the on the low end to
Yeah.
go back, because you always want whatever you change to have a chance to report,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because a lot of times we, as people,
Yeah.
we will do something. It
Impatient.
on, yeah, the information's on record for us. They don't have that information yet,
Nope.
right? Like and we can tell them 100 times, "Hey, man, I paid off this and I did this." Unless they see it on that computer screen, then it doesn't
It ain't
mean
happening.
anything to them. Like,
That's right.
yeah, it ain't happening. But yeah, man,
And I'm so
that's the
glad.
5 right there.
And man, you know what? I'm so glad you touched on that when you said, "Hey, listen, even if you are denied, try again,
For
in
sure.
about 3 months." And I think that sometimes people they take that mental piece of being denied and they
Yeah,
say, "Man, you know what?" And they
yeah,
take it personal. But
yeah,
man, this is why we bring Sledge here, everyone. This is why we bring him here to drop those gems, okay? You was
yeah.
about to say something?
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you,
Okay.
just going off of that.
Yeah.
Listen, as many credit cards as I have, man, when I get ready to hit that submit button, man, I still get anxiety. You know what I mean? Like, people,
Like, what's
we
gonna
don't
happen?
like
Right.
rejection. You know what I mean? Like, as people, we just don't like rejection.
No.
You don't want that thing to say deny. You know what I'm saying? But
That's right.
it's just you taking that chance whenever you're getting applied, whenever you're applying, but you want to give yourself the best possible chance of approval before you
Yeah.
apply for any of these cards. So,
Wow.
Calvin here to
Man.
help you with that.
You better believe it, man. You better believe it. And see, this is why we bring Sledge here, as well as many other guests, to fill in these blanks, because this is his focus. This is his criteria. I mean, not his criteria. This is his niche. He knows this information. And so again, Mr. Do Your Research is most definitely in the building, man. But listen, thanks again, Sledge. We know that, of course, you have to move some things around in your schedule to make today work. We thank you. We appreciate you for stopping by the channel. And also, too, guys, if you guys haven't done so already, make sure you guys go ahead and go to his YouTube channel, subscribe today, especially if you want to learn more about these credit cards, what to do, what not to do, and how to build these relationships the right way, sir. We greatly appreciate you being here.
Hey, man, I appreciate being on, man, and I can't wait till the next time.
That's right. Awesome. Awesome. All right, man. Until next time. See you.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next video.